Good afternoon and welcome to the Coniston Hotel near Skipton, and we're with Renault, and this is the new Renault 5. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. Renault 5 stood out in my life for many years. One of my mates used to have a GT Turbo. The colours that you saw in all the magazines, yellows, greens, oranges. So what do Renault do? They bring in the new electric 5 with this. What a colour! Lizard green? It probably isn't, but that's the energy it gives off. Straight away, it's electric. But why isn't it going to be? I mean, it's the perfect car to electrify if you think about it. And that seems to be the trail that Renault are on. Especially if you look at the Renault 4. That's electric. And there's also some others coming. Now here's the question. Is it strong enough to hold the Renault 5 name? In a word, yes, yes, and yes. And if this doesn't float your boat, you could go for the Alpine A290. This on steroids. But as far as an R5 goes, it's perfect. I mean, when you look inside, it does remind you, because it was a 90s car, it was simplistic, you know, the cluster, and it did rattle a bit. But with a 1.4 turbocharged engine and a 17-year-old behind the wheel, not really surprising. They were quick. Now, when you move on to electrifying something that has been a petrol lover's dream for years, you do face a bit of a kickback, shall we say. But to be honest, none of it's really warranted. This is how you bring back something like that. If you've noticed, there's a lot of electric vehicles that have come out that have almost echoed their previous incarnations. And this is just fantastic in every way. And it's a damn sight better built than the 90s models. Not that I don't have a place in my heart for those. I do have an affinity with these types of cars, but these are the hot hatches that I grew up with. Now, yes, we're on an electric powertrain, 52 kilowatts. The thing is, that'll deliver around 250 miles. Real world, I'd say about 225, but that all depends on how you drive it. So many new cars, new generations lose the history of the previous gen, or the previous model, or the first model for that matter. First glance, you know exactly what it is. It's a Renault 5. This is a E-Tech in the Techno trim. It's also in pop green with a diamond black roof. And it makes a statement in every way, shape and form. But wasn't that what Renault 5 was about? Yes, it really was. It was one of those cars that turns heads at raves. And it drives like the older ones. Truth be known, it actually drives better. But because it's got an electric powertrain, it's got extra weight. And I'm loving the way that these things are coming back as electric. And if you can come out with something like this, well, I'm liking the way that we're heading. The looks. As I mentioned, it looks like old school Renault 5, which is an excellent way to start. Just a bit wider, a bit more grrr. But that's a good thing. People used to put wider body kits on R5s. So the fact that Renault have done this straight out the factory, mwah, the pièce de résistance. I've actually said it on the French car. That makes a change. Touches like this, the French flag. Oui, oui. I'm going to have a heck of a job finding anything wrong with it. Even the range suits. Because essentially it can be a city car or you could go on a proper jaunt. I could drive virtually to London from the South Lakes. Sculpted front bumper, LED daytime running lights. But it's just the shaping and the style. Even bits like this. A nice prominent Renault badge. Black accents, carbon fibre styly. And this, the illuminated 5 on the bonnet. It's very cool, but it also has a purpose. It shows how much charge you've got in the car. Nice grille down there. But yeah, it's the pop green that makes it. Thing is, you don't have to go for this. You could go for something a little more understated. I suppose the way you look at it is, it's a Renault 5, but bigger. More powerful, more well equipped, lots of safety. Nothing that's too naggy, but it's got your back. Adaptive cruise. It's even got a column shift. This is mid-range. Now, it's not as well equipped as some of the other Renault models. It doesn't need a front camera. And top of the range fills in any gaps. And the really cool bit, it starts at 22,995. Now, yes, ours is mid-range and it's got the bigger battery. So ours is closer to 27,000. But with a range like that, I think it's well worth the money. It has certainly floated one's boat. The plastic cladding, the 18-inch alloys. It's almost got a retro feel with those wheels. and wrapped in Continental. Damn good tyres. Flared haunches and Renault 5 styling. This red wraparound that goes around the windows. It's not very often I'm speechless, but it kind of renders that. Fat flared side skirts. Yes, my energy's coming out, but I just can't help it with things like this. I grew up in a hot hatch era, and there's nothing I'd change on it. It even looks like the first concept. Well, thereabouts. Because I remember first seeing it at Goodwood. I think it was about 3 years ago in bright yellow. And I got frog marched off the stage, even though I was press. And to say that it's kept that is amazing. I think it's time to take a look inside. Yes, no keyless entry, but colour-coded pop green door handles. So with this, you can also turn on your lights and release your tailgate. Fold out mirrors, power assisted. The door opens nice and wide, and just look at this retro interior, black glossy bits, but nice padded areas, even a decent sized door pocket. Yes, I do have to dip my head, but I'm climbing into, well, quite a small car. Saying that, it is considerably bigger than the previous gen. Or should I say, the 90s. And the seat's up as well. So yeah, you do get height adjustment. Once inside, it's so funky, but it still carries over retro elements. They've just gone to town with pretty much every element. So you used to have a smaller cluster. This digital cluster here, and your infotainment system with proper buttons. Look at this. Nice switchgear. Love it. Oh dear, he's turned the fans on. Nice and easy to turn off as well. It's fantastic. Proper buckety seats like the original too. And just look at the colour scheme. Nice centre console, 12 volts, USBs, even a wireless charger, dependent on the trim you go for. Nice storage area and an armrest. Not what I expected. No, this ticks boxes. Look at the sporty steering wheel. Got some haptics here and nice chunky stalks. And this is the shifter. Reverse, neutral, drive and brake. So you've got a heavier regen, which means that you'll put more power into your battery, braking, coasting, etc. Just look at the roof. The styling, the indentations, but more. The material and also the colour. It's like woven. Solid. Way more solid than the earlier ones. Which is a good thing. They were very fast, but they just weren't built to the level of Renaults today. Mind you, nothing was. Headroom, 2 inches at 6'3". Another thing I didn't expect. Reach and rake, so you can find the perfect position. I've even got a footrest on the left-hand side. We need one of these for our fleet. Yes, it's got hard plastics, but just look at the design language on the actual dashboard. Also the speakers here. Handbrake here, and auto hold button. Build quality, I moved the car before any of these things move. It is solid. It's very well made. Even this, you know, I'm putting a bit of force on it. Switchgear feels good. DAB radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You've even got Google Assistant, so you can talk to it. And it's very responsive. You can see your economy, the electric you're using, the powertrain when it's doing it, what drains what, etc., etc. So you can even set things like battery limits. There's also an app, so you can see if your vehicle's locked, etc., etc. The cluster itself, full of information. So you can see your mile per kilowatt hour here, battery reading, and it's very straightforward. Yes, we've got piano black, but it does work well, especially with this green mood lighting and these easily cleanable vents. And you'll notice that everything is aimed at the driver. So it gives you a proper cockpit feel. Love it. The seats are manual. With cars like this, I expect the things that were like the original. For what you get for the money, it's quite amazing. Map reading lights, SOS button. If you like this type of video, why not subscribe to the channel? You just hit the button on the right hand side. It's free and you'll get an alert every time we upload. Thank you. It ticks boxes. I love the way there's a little Renault 5 in there as well. It's the little things. Let's see what it's like in the back. I've just found mood lighting down here. Sadly, no adjustable seat belts. But that's scraping the bottom of the barrel. Now there is one thing that does stand out to me. Unlike Renault 5 Turbo, it's 5 doors. But the Campuses were, and other models. And the fact is people prefer the 5-door designation nowadays. And to be honest, it carries it off amazingly well. Flared rear haunches and decent space in the arches. I mean, look at the ride height. You could actually get onto a campsite quite easily. Door handles are hidden here, so it keeps that lovely line That's the other thing. There's no overly wild, I suppose, efficiency stylies. So you've not got big grooves on the side. It just looks smart. Let's take a look in the back. That opens rather wide. I'm quite surprised. Climbing in, yes, at my height, it is a little bit tight. But realistically, I could have the seat further forward. Yes, no padded area. And no door pocket. Didn't expect that. But we've got an electric window. This is all hard plastics. It would have been nice to see the insert from the front, especially on mid-range up models. Climbing in, I do have to bend a fair bit, but once inside, this bit's a bit... my hair is brushing. But what do you expect? It's not the biggest car in the world, and it's not really designed for me in the back. But at a push, it's doable. It's not quite as dark as I thought either. They've done wonders with the space for the size of the car. I can get my feet under the seats, and you've got a decent flat area here, built on a truly electric platform. It would have been nice to see a sunroof, maybe even like one of those smaller ones at the front. Panoramic would just make it amazing. But at this price bracket, you can see why they haven't put one in. I love these. They're almost like mini spotlights. Very cool. Nice rear seats, relatively buckety and comfortable. No pull-down armrest though. And the fabric, ooh. No charging ports, no little cubby holes. Would have been nice to see some bits and bats there. But we've both got map pockets. Now this is designated 5-seater, but there's no way you're getting 5 of me in here. You would, at a push, get 4 of me, which is something, but in the middle, you'd have to have a small cat. Large cat, maybe. A cat. Finally, ISOFIX points and airbags around the vehicle. No, more room than expected. One thing Annabelle's going to miss, there's not one grab handle on this car at all. Just something to note. Climbing out, it's not so bad to be honest. The rear. Je t'aime beaucoup. And I do, really. Look at the shape on the rear lights. They even remind me of the first gen of Renault 5. The things like the wide arch Gordinis. It's excellent. It may not be the most practical and the most roomy car in the world, but it's fantastic. I may be a little biased, just a touch. But why on earth not, when it looks like this and it drives the way it does? Rear parking sensors, reversing camera, but just look at this. It's fantastic. Yes, I've got a gush, but I don't care. This is what brings me passion when it comes to electric cars. And you need that with EVs. You need something that's going to go, woo! And this does. Let's take a look in the boot. Yes, it's not the biggest, and you do have the most cavernous boot lip in the world. Well, as far as electric cars go, and modern vehicles for that matter. Does it matter? No. The thing is, it still has a relatively decent sized boot. Yes, it's not the biggest in its class, but you could quite easily get at least a half decent sized suitcase in there, or some carry-on luggage. And realistically, if you put the seats down, I'd probably get my bike in there, but I would have to remove both wheels. Look at the Diddy parcel shelf. Look at that, that is cool. Lifts out very easily. Pull strings here, and then the seat just releases and drops. Yes, because you've got no false floor, it's not going to be level. But you almost expect that on this class of car. In my eyes, it'd be perfect as a second car. On that note, let's look under the bonnet. Yes, there's no 1.4 turbocharged engine, but we may find a rather powerful electric powertrain. As it's French, we're going to the other door. I should remember this, we have a Peugeot. That's a nice weighty bonnet. Never thought I'd say that about an electric car. Prop, and yes, no frunk. Not really surprising, but it's nice and easy to see where you top up fluids, etc. And there you have it. Let's see how it drives. Looking forward to this one. Welcome behind the wheel of the new Renault 5 electric. So yes, it's not turbocharged, but it can shift. And it feels so well balanced. It looks the part, and you get a decent range, around 250 miles. I was thinking it's probably likely to be closer to around 220, but that's still pretty good. Wow, it's got some, yes, front wheel drive and extremely fun. I wonder if they'll do an all-wheel drive. That'd be something. So we've got a 52 kilowatt hour battery and an electric motor that delivers 150 horsepower. On a B road, it's amazing. You can throw it around like there's no tomorrow. But it also puts a mega grin on your face. It's just that power's just there. Lots of safety, ticks boxes, well, that the original didn't. Look at the stylized cluster. There's just so many cool retro Renault bits. It's like harks back. Oh, this is my perfect electric car. Ooh, the multi-sense button. This is where the action happens. Eco, Sport, Perso, and Comfort. And yes, they do make a difference. Suspension's great. Like I said, you can throw it around. But on a normal road like this, well, more like a trail, it just gobbles up the bumps. No unnecessary bangs, awkward noises, there's no creaks. And when you get it on a nice bit of tarmac, it quietens right down. And on that note, thanks for watching.